Welcome to the Physician Workflow Review in HST eChart. When the provider logs into HST eChart, only their particular cases will display on the schedule screen that you are now looking at. That is for HIPAA compliance. There are several icons that will appear on the schedule when you look at the HST eChart. What you see today is a paperclip. The paperclip indicates that there are documents attached to this chart. You will see those documents in just a few moments. First, I want to point out the tabs at the top of this screen. You have the Schedule tab, which we are on, the Search screen if you would like to look for a past record of this patient, the Patient Locator, which will show the patient's journey through the continuum of care at your surgery center, and the Task Manager. The Task Manager will show the user any and all tasks that have either been assigned to them or that they are delinquent in completing a previous case. Today, we are all caught up. To enter the patient's chart, the user simply needs to tap on the case. For surgeons, you may set it up so that it opens in your workflow. Here's a little terminology. HST is divided into multiple workflows. The purpose is so that each user does not have to leave their workflow in order to find any information that they need to complete their care of the patient on the day of surgery. We will show you how this is accomplished as we move forward. HST eChart is divided up into small blocks of data. These blocks are like Legos. They can be arranged, included, or excluded at your center's desire to follow along with the flow of your cases. The physician workflow, in particular, is very simple, easy to navigate, and has no more information than you desire to see to complete your case on the day of surgery. Since HST eChart is browser-based, it can be accessed through the Chrome browser while you're at home or at your office or anywhere that you have access to the Chrome browser. This is important because you may choose to complete parts of this record prior to the date of service. The first block that you see in this workflow is document display. Any documents that have been scanned in to this patient for this visit will display here in eChart. To access those displayed documents, the link is provided. When you click on that link, it will open in a new browser tab the information contained within that link. That is so that the user can toggle back and forth easily between the chart they are documenting in and the PDF that they wish to view. The same is true for any document that is in the document display block. If the document is loaded in while you have the workflow open, you may need to tap the Load Active Documents block button. You'll notice that there is a green check mark in the far right corner of the block. This is a completion indicator. For every block in this workflow, the completion indicator is linked to the overall completion of the physician workflow. As you can see, we are now at 14%. While we're up here in the chart header, let's review a few of the items. Because physicians have multiple patients that they are dealing with during the same day, we allow you the ability to pin the chart. The workflow for this patient will now appear in the bottom toolbar when you navigate away. You are able to pin all of your cases for the day and toggle between them easily without having to navigate away from the physician workflow. The second block we have is called the H&P attestation. For this block, the information is pre-selected for you. In this case, the H&P that was scanned into Document Central, the system identified it as being performed within the 30-day H&P window. If your center has changed that window to greater than 30 days, it will then recognize that date. If the H&P is not within date, and you must either complete it in a block designed for H&P, or if you have a paper copy, you can select a different radio button choice should you need to. As you can see, the options for I have examined the patient and reviewed the preoperative history and physical. There are no changes or addenda has been selected for you. If you need to change that, once you say there are changes or addenda, you can then type directly into this block, this field. We have also pre-selected for you that the patient is approved for the scheduled procedure under the planned anesthesia at the ambulatory surgery center. If you are not going to proceed with this case, you may say the patient is not approved, in which case you would notify the staff and this case would be canceled. To sign off on the H&P attestation, we have a simple signature button. Before I tap it, I want you to notice that the completion indicator is a red minus for this block. If you tap on a red minus here or in any block in the chart, it will tell you what is required to complete this block. For you to sign, you simply tap it, your signature will appear, you will get your green check mark. And as you can see, we are now 28% through. The next block we have here is the consent for surgery. If at your surgery center today, you are required to sign the consent for surgery, then it will be in your workflow to sign. If it is, I suggest that you carefully read the consent to make sure it has the procedure of cataract extraction with IOL that you want to perform on this patient. If you need to include any additional information, this is where you could type that in. If this pre-populated consent has the incorrect procedure, you must contact the nurse in charge of this patient or the surgery center itself for them to correct this issue before you sign the consent. The words that are in this consent will be the words that have already been approved by your surgery center and by your council and executive committee. You'll notice that there's a place for the signature of the patient, which will be signed directly on the tablet. HST chart is designed tablet first. That is so the chart can be as portable and mobile as you are when you are caring for this patient in multiple areas. As the witness to this document, you can tap and it will apply your signature. If you have a witness and as a nurse and you have the provider sign, there will be 3 blanks here for that purpose. The next block we're going to look at is physician orders. The physician orders block pre-populates based on the procedure type and the physician. Any unsigned orders will appear yellow in color. However, if you would like to change the orders template for this patient, for example, this is a cataract with a block. If you are going to do a topical cataract, you may choose to switch it to topical. The orders will automatically swap for you. And you'll notice that there are non-medication or written orders. There are also medication orders. This information is built prior to scheduling this case. If you have changes that you'd like to make to your standard order set, if you want it made all the time, you can contact your nursing staff and let them know. But if you just want to make one particular change, for example, if you do not want this patient to have Tylenol post-op, you can simply trash can that order before you sign it, and it will go away. You'll notice that there are green check marks in this far right column called Med Check. In the background of HST eChart, a med allergy check is performed automatically once the patient's allergies have been entered and confirmed. In this case, that step happened during the preoperative phone call. Every single potential medication that will be given during their patient's stay is checked against their home medications, and it's checked against their allergies. Should you get an allergy, this green check mark will be a red exclamation point. For you to sign off on your orders, you simply need to select all, or if you want, you can just select the ones that you would like to have and unselect the ones that you don't want. I'm going to go ahead and sign them all. You'll notice that the area of care for each of these orders is separated out. That is so as the physician, you can, as you are used to, sign all the orders in one place. The system will parse them out to the proper workflows for the proper clinician to have those orders. When I sign those orders, you'll notice that there's a lock that's automatically placed on the orders. That is so no one can edit the order that you've made. However, if you do make an error and you decide I did not really want to sign for the tropicamide in this case, you can strike through that order. You just have to type in a reason. For example, I'm going to say that it was signed in error. I'm going to save that. You'll notice that that order now is stricken through, and it will not appear in the med admin table for the pre-op nurse to give. You'll notice that the signature area is blank, even though I signed the orders. You'll see that the signature of the providing physician filled out the column as it should, but this remains blank because if you so desired to add a new order, This is for a medication order. You would pick the area. You would pick the medication. I'm going to add some antibiotic ointment. We're going to give it topical. To the non-operative eye, because let's say there was a cut there. This is where you would put in your dose unit of measure. But most physicians have a standard set of orders that they will have here for the patient. If a nurse adds a verbal order, it will show here as yellow for you to sign. You'll notice at the bottom, there's a place to show hidden orders. You may have orders that are not standard for every case, but you would like to have them built in your order set in case you decide to use it. When you show the hidden orders, you'll see discharge when stable and all criteria met. If you don't want to sign this order yet, you do not have to. You can hide any unsigned orders. It will disappear off your page. The next block in this workflow is medication reconciliation. If at your surgery center, you do not have to complete the medication reconciliation, or you complete it by just stating to resume all meds as prescribed, you do not have to have this block in your workflow. But it depends on what your policy and procedures at your center are. You'll notice there's a big red square with the patient's penicillin allergy. Anywhere in the chart where you order medications, resume medications, or administer medications, this block will appear at the top of each of these separate individual blocks. In this case, the patient is taking Lipitor at home, which you would want to resume as it was prescribed by their primary. When you check resume as prescribed, this was ordered with your orders to be done at discharge, so you don't have to do anything to that one. And you just sign them all, and your block is complete. Now, all of these blocks that we've done so far are completed prior to the start of the procedure. And as you can see in the upper right corner, we are 71% complete. The remaining blocks in this workflow are the operative report block. If you dictate an operative report, and it will be several days or at least several hours before that report is on this record, you will have an additional block, and it's called immediate postoperative note or interim operative report. But I'm going to demonstrate to you today that this physician is going to use a template as opposed to a dictated report. The information at the top of this operative report are completed by other areas of the chart automatically. The pre-op diagnosis, the post-op diagnosis, the EBL, the scheduled procedure, the performed procedure, the anesthesia type, the lenses that were implanted, any specimens obtained, are all completed automatically by the circulating nurse, by the anesthesia providers. You can have a preloaded template appear in this chart for you to sign off on if you have a standard template you would like to use. You can also use voice recognition software and simply place the cursor in the field and dictate directly into operative report. You can also use Dragon and any of the other voice recognition softwares and the tablets associated with them to bring in your operative note. If the wrong template has been assigned to this procedure, you can change out your template by just searching for any other procedure that you might have. So we're going to switch it to a topical cataract. And as you can see, that description will change automatically. You can leave blanks that you want to finish later. You can leave checkboxes that you want to check off. Currently, we do not have the ability to have drop-down boxes inside of the operative report, but we hope to have that in the near future. If you are happy or satisfied with the operative report as it is in your chart, you can simply sign it. Now you might say, why doesn't it allow me to sign it? That is a safety feature built into HST eChart. You're not allowed to sign the operative report until the incision has been made. The last block I want to show you in this workflow is called Sketchpad. You can drop in a picture of the appendage that you are working on. You can make notes. You can mark where your LRI was made. You can mark where your laser, if you're doing a laser. You can have this image be any image for any body part that you are working on. When you save and exit, that line will be there. If I added notes, you would know what those notes were. And this will print with the printed chart. The checkbox is to accept what I have put in here. If specimens are taken, you will have a block that's called specimen results. And you'll be able to review those results once they are scanned in and linked to this record. When they are scanned in, you will receive a task in your task manager that will ask you to review those results. Right now, I'm going to pop back to the schedule screen in eChart so that you can see the very bottom. That is the pinned chart. That is this Rosie's chart that I pinned to the bottom. You could pin all of your charts for the day and toggle between them. Whenever you tap that patient, it will bring you back to the workflow you were in and the last block that you touched. So that simple toggling back and forth saves you many, many clicks. As you can see, the physician workflow, the provider workflow is very short, compact, and sweet. If you want more information in your physician workflow, you just need to let your clinicians be aware of that. They will be able to change these charts for you so that they suit your purposes. After the case is finished, I would toggle back to this patient. I would complete the operative report, and I will have 100%. Thank you again so much for your attention as we reviewed the physician workflow in HST eChart.